Hey guys, Andrew Bedlam here from PoGo City Radio and the Spiky Tops. I'm fresh back from my LA trip for the LA Punk Invasion. Now, normally on my pages and channel, we talk about punk rock and pretty much punk rock exclusively, but I got something different for you today. This is something we saw while walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and it is the Midevil Torture Museum. It's insane. You can touch all the stuff. You could put the stuff on. It's all heavy iron. It's a museum. It was like $30 for entry. It's free roam. It's very dark. I edited the brightness on the clips so you could see a little bit better. There was a lot more footage. I was trying to keep this video under 10 minutes, so this was all I could squeak in. If you're ever on Hollywood Boulevard, I highly recommend this. It's right down the street from the Chinese Theater, right next door to the Wax Museum, across the street from Ripley's Believe It or Not. Definitely check it out. And if you think this is we're cruel or wrong or evil, or we have malice in our hearts for doing this and enjoying this and maybe making light of this, I want you to keep in mind that 90% of the devices in this place was made by the church. Mostly by the Christian church, but pretty much by any church throughout history. Now, there are some instances where devices were made by maybe a dentist, like the electric chair, but most of the devices you're going to see in here was made to punish heretics or people who went against statesmen. So keep that in mind. I know it's dark. Does anyone know what this is? We're in the Torture Museum, and this is depicting what Vlad the Impaler from Hungary, Romania, Dracula, what he would do, his impalements to his own people to scare off the other armies. But there's that big bitch that was inserted into the back of one and then left on for several days for gravity to take over and eventually turn into that from that. Yeah, Vlad the Impaler was fucked up. Here, Jessica knew right away. Torture by rat. Now, this came from China. I know this is hard to see. This is a cage. There's supposed to be rats in it. It's on some poor soul's stomach. And what they would do is they would heat up this metal cage with the rats in it that were on his stomach until they went crazy, and then would eventually eat into his stomach and burrow into the victim's stomach to get away from the heat. This is the pendulum that Edgar Allan Poe describes. He said they used it in the Spanish Inquisition in his short story, but that's actually not true, but it's still in this torture museum. Now, I have a tongue piercing, but this is a whole new level. Now, first of all, that's a big-ass nail. We're talking about like a zero-gauge tongue piercing, and it's stuck to wood then, and this was to release the evil spirits. And it was punishment for gossip and slanderer of statesmen in order to relieve evil spirits. Fucking nuts. Never heard of this. This is the throne. Those top holes, people's feet would hang and their head would be at the bottom, like that. And then they'd take this big ass club and beat them with it. The throne. This is real. This is the chair with all the spikes on it. I know it's hard to see. They got shackles for the ankle. They would put vices on people's fingers and on their knees. He's loving tightening it, sick bastard. Now, the Aztecs, apparently, and the Chinese would fillet people alive. So they would hang them upside down like this with some diesel-ass hooks, and then they would fillet them into something like that. Here are some of the hooks. The anchor.
They still use in China.
They still use this device in China. It's hard to see. Records, it says there. But he's got like metal bars chained between his ankles that are then attached to his neck. It's very hard to see. Now this here is the Sicilian bull. I just saw a special on this on YouTube. The man who made this was putting it in an oven, iron oven. They'd put you in there and heat it cook you. What's even more fucked up is like 90% of the stuff down here was done during the Spanish Inquisition, which means people did this stuff in the name of God.
The Cradle of Judah.
Cradle of Judah. Read it.
The invention of this instrument is attributed to the Italian executioner Ippolit Marcil. It appeared in the 15th century, in the late 15th century, and was used to torture heretics and potential sorcerers for several centuries.
Yeah, so even though that wasn't the Spanish Inquisition, it was Italy, and it was still for heretics, someone going against the church.
Initially, the Cradle of Judah was considered humane.
This was considered humane and was barely used.
From falling asleep.
Because it was humane. Barely used because it was too humane. As someone who's done carpentry, I just can't even fathom. They just call it the handsaw. This has never even crossed my mind before. And people did this shit. Sawing and handsaw. Imagine if you had this little fuck executioner messing with you, putting you in this shit. We found the guillotine. Ooh, there's a fresh one in there. Then they'd roll it around and play soccer with it. Just ways to hurt people. Just ways to hurt people. Well, ways to kill people. All right, now you're actually able to put on these masks. We're not gonna. They're real and they're iron. But you can put on these masks. I know it's hard to see. There's like, you see the eyes, and then the mouth is like a horn. I'm guessing they'd be dumping things in there. This one's like a bumblebee, maybe? I don't know, some cartoony face. This one is a pig. There's some down there that are funky looking. I imagine, what's this, drawn and quartered, I imagine?
This guy's eyes got burned.
You know, dunking people in barrels of water on this thing, man. We got some more masks. We got people's heads in vices. Hands first, of course. Couldn't just go straight to the head. That would be too much mercy. Oh, we were watching this on YouTube too. Isn't this where that gymnastic horse came from, Jess? Look, it's the horse that they would torture people on. That's where we saw that on like YouTube too, about this horse, and that this is where the gymnastics thing comes from. But yeah, they'd leave people on there for days, and it's all pointy, and they'd probably throw fruit at them and stuff. It's like, I know it's hard to see in here, but it's awesome.
Getting like humiliated, like a parade or something.
Yeah.
Anti-masturbation ring. It was used in the late 19th, early 20th centuries by POC morale parents to prevent teenagers from sexual self-satisfaction.
Yeah, how's that for an opal ring? Some just old school burning at the stake, some like Joan of Arc, witch stuff. I don't know what happened over here, but he don't look happy. Where they do the thing in the back? Yeah, that movie was insane. They do that in Midsommar. A24, man.
Like alive, I think.
Yeah, for a while.
A while with their back muscles out, it would be super uncomfortable.
Yeah, and what is that? Like their shoulder blades?
I don't think
they look like a fly.
Yeah.
It looks like a fly. And of course, the Iron Maiden, not actually used in the Inquisition though, came much later. But yes, the Iron Maiden. No spikes in there. I thought this was an Iron Maiden that they took the spikes out of, but it's actually called, I don't know, is it Nuremberg? Like a Nuremberg Virgin is what this is. The Iron Maiden, it says over there. So I guess it just depends on what part of the world you're in. This is some insanity. Thrown on a bed of nails, only to be crushed by a ceiling of nails. That seems way too quick. I'm sure they tortured him a bunch first.